everybody, this is Miss Sonia Gidla, the principal of Douglas Memorial High Secondary School, and I welcome you all to my video podcast series Talk the Talk. And today we are filming the 6th episode. The love of mother is the purest form of love that there is. A brilliant quote states that when a child is born, a mother is born too. When we regard mothers to be nurturers and life givers, I feel that children should be given due appreciation and credit. That when a child is born and comes into being, a woman turns into a wonderful mother. If I were to define a mother or motherhood today, I think I would fail miserably because the pain, the angst, and the thrill and a mix of emotions that a mother feels and goes through on this period and journey is absolutely inexplicable and incomprehensible. Today, one of our veteran teachers and also a mother, Ms. Shashwati Ghosh Bose, would be joining me in the conversation, and our topic of discussion today is motherhood. So ma'am, I welcome you to my video podcast series Talk the Talk. Thank you so much ma'am for agreeing to do this. So ma'am,
my honor ma'am.
So before asking questions ma'am, I would like to introduce you to my viewers. So Ms. Shashwati Ghosh Bose is a teacher by profession. She has been teaching English for over 2 decades at Douglas Memorial High Secondary School. She also heads the Department of English at our school. She is a loyal, faithful and pious lady who believes in the common adage, work is worship. She is an expert in her subject, and the teachers serving under her regard her with immense respect and consider her to be their mentor. Her beloved students have empowered her with a sacred badge, and that is one of the best teachers they've ever come across. So once again, ma'am, I welcome you to my podcast.
Thank you.
The first question, ma'am, would be, how are you feeling today?
A little nervous, but at the same time I'm very happy that I'm here, and my anchor was once upon a time my student.
I was just about to say that.
And that fills me with immense pride.
I feel that makes me more nervous, ma'am, because you have been my teacher and my mentor, and today asking questions to you would make me really, really nervous and also excited at the same time. So, ma'am, it's a privilege to have you on my podcast series, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, what has it been? Okay, before that question, sorry. What is your idea of motherhood?
Like I was hearing what you were telling, and exactly that. If I have to define motherhood, I don't think it will be possible for anyone to put a phrase or a sentence and say this is motherhood. This particular term itself has, it has a very broad spectrum.
Yes.
Love, emotion, care, kindness, compassion, all of this together comprises motherhood. And a woman need not necessarily give birth to a child to attain this stage.
Wow, that's a brilliant answer.
That is why we have Mother Teresa.
Yes, ma'am.
Biologically, she is not a mother.
Wow.
But we all know that what a great mother she was.
I know. We need not have a child or produce a child biologically to feel, that blessing of a mother, I feel.
Exactly. And because this compassion should be within. And like you see, you give a doll to a girl child and to a boy child. And you'll find the difference. The boy child will observe the doll, turn the doll around, study the doll, whereas the girl child will fondle, will caress the doll. Maybe because we have been blessed with that compassion, which I don't think it is quite natural. It is a divine blessing. Yes. And maybe because of that, I have no hard feelings.
To fathers,
no offense. Yeah. But then we are a little better than the fathers.
I feel that there are so many fathers who are like single fathers, and they do a brilliant job at raising their children like a mother would do. So no offense to any gender over here. This is what ma'am feels, and I feel the same too. So ma'am, what has it been like for you to be a mother 10 years back and now? So what is the difference at that stage and now currently?
Lots of difference. 10 years back I was immature, very impractical, and I expected a lot from my child. But over the years I feel that my child is my blessing. We mothers, we have lots of dreams and aspirations when we nurture a child, when we see the child growing up, and somewhere there we falter also. Our dreams we push down upon our children, and when they do not fail to come up to that mark, we also feel demoralized. Our expectation sometimes nips that aspiration in our children also.
Yes.
But now, thanks to all my children, they have, because of them, I have become more patient. My level of endurance has grown, and I have learned to accept my children with all their faults and demerits, because I feel every child is unique, and I'm sure even you will accept that. And sometimes we make this this big mistake of comparing our children. I used to do that, but over the years I realized that that isn't the right thing. Certainly, when my child compares me to one of her friends' parent, I will not like that.
Yeah.
Similarly, when my child will not like that.
So are you saying, ma'am, to the viewers today that as parents we should be really supportive for our children and should not be comparing from one to the other?
Certainly,
because every child is unique, every child is different. Like our fingers, not one finger is same.
And if one finger goes missing in our hand, the difference is felt.
Yes.
So we should appreciate our child with all their flaws, with all their merits.
And ma'am, when you mentioned that like the first stage or phase of motherhood, you were very immature. I feel that it's okay to be immature and imperfect and to falter in the way, because it's the first time that we're experiencing this. So there is no clear-cut definition of how you need to, or what responsibilities you have as a mother. So you just learn everything on the way. So these unrealistic demands we have for mothers, or as a woman, like you have to do this and that and juggle so many responsibilities all together. I think that it's immense pressure on women as mothers.
Yes.
And I feel that demand should be curtailed down.
Certainly.
Yes, ma'am.
My journey will be a little different from your journey. Your journey will be a little different from
again. Every
else.
mother is different.
Every mother is different, like
because every family is different.
Yes.
We are differently raised, and our value system is also different. Yes,
and so down this journey or along this experience, we need to every experience will teach us that where we have gone wrong. And certainly we have to accept our imperfections also. It's only our imperfections which take us towards perfection.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. So we all know at Douglas Memorial Higher Secondary School that ma'am has a darling daughter and she adores her, and the daughter adores her mother also. So what sort of chemistry do you share with your daughter, ma'am?
Wonderful chemistry, ma'am.
Also, sorry to cut you off, ma'am, also to mention that she looks exactly like her mom. Okay, if you're watching this, ma'am, could you please share the name with our viewers?
She's Priyanka.
Priyanka. So Priyanka is just, the replica of her mother, I feel. Not only the outward physical appearance, but also in character.
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
All right, ma'am.
Well, she's 16 years old today, and we share a wonderful chemistry. She has become my friend. She is the one who carries my bag of secrets, my confidant, and she is my pride.
Wow.
And although, like ma'am said, she looks a lot like me, but then her line of thoughts are very different from that of mine.
How is she different from you, ma'am?
She is different from me in the sense that she is more fashion freak.
Okay.
Which I am not.
Okay.
And like there are things, maybe that's because of her age, where I feel that at times you need to be a little more patient. But she is patient, but sometimes she forgets that.
That's a trait of any teenage girl, ma'am. So we can't blame her. We can't blame you, Priyanka.
No, but then she is a darling daughter.
Okay, ma'am.
Very understanding, very friendly.
So, ma'am, you see, especially in Indian society, I feel that parents don't treat their children as their friends. So,
unfortunately.
Yes, ma'am. So, the children, they look up to their parents as someone they would revere and respect, or someone they would look up to. So, what advice would you give the parents, ma'am? Like, is it necessary for you to be friendly with your children and at the same time to be firm?
That is where we need to draw a line. We need to be friendly. If you are not friendly to your child probably will never reveal many things to you. They'll hide it within themselves. They will not bloom up in the right way they need to bloom. But at the same time, you also need to tell them where they go wrong. You need to be a little firm. You need to draw a line to teach them that this is where you need to stop, regard, respect. A little of formal relationship should exist in this. Else the child will take you for granted,
Yes.
will not give the respect which a mother deserves to get from a child.
So a blend of both.
Should
Firmness and then little
yes,
bit of leniency.
it should
also.
be there should be a proper blend of leniency as well as a little firmness.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. With this pandemic going around, ma'am, women have had to up their games both at home front and also at their workplaces. How difficult is it for mothers to strike a balance?
Very
Only a mother would understand, I think.
very difficult, and in a society like us where mothers are expected to be perfect in every sphere, any imperfections will draw lots of criticisms. But at the same time, I think days are changing. Many households, like there are so many teachers over here who are working, and we have the support of our family members, else it would have been a very difficult task. And this pandemic has also proved to be, in a way, a catalyst to bring out the best in us.
Yes, ma'am.
We have work at home as homemakers. At the same time, we have to meet the deadlines of a professional life. Sometimes we falter, but sometimes we excel.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is possible only when you learn that, only when you accept rather, that you don't have to be perfect always. You don't have to reach that zenith or the peak of perfections to be the brilliant mother.
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
children will accept you anyway.
I have known so many women, ma'am, who wrap up their work at home and they rush for their work, come
Yes.
back and again handle all these household chores. It's a lot of pressure on
Lots
women,
of
I feel,
pressure.
and they do it with such grace, without complaining. So I feel that as women, we are also very sacrificial in nature, very
Yeah.
much, very
And
much.
sometimes, this is taken for granted. Unfortunately, this is taken for granted.
And it's not appreciated also by
Never
men.
appreciated.
Because they feel that it's our duty,
Yes.
a moral duty.
That's what I was saying. The children, it is here that the children should play a vital role. In fact, the family members at home must teach this to the child. And I think the mothers must play a very positive role here. The mothers must also go forward to teach their children that they have to respect their parents. The mothers, that they must see that the children must be able to see that what turmoils the mother is undergoing in the daily struggles of her life.
Yes.
Only then will the children recognize the efforts put by a mother. And these days, as I said earlier, days are changing. Many of the men are taking up the responsibilities. They have accepted that women also are a part of this game. Not many, but the change has certainly begun.
Ma'am, when you mentioned that children should be taught at home to respect their mothers, I feel that I would just like to cite a reference from this movie English Winglish, starring Sri Devi. When if I'm not wrong, when the child was asked, "What does your mother do?" and then the child says nothing. After doing so much, toiling so hard, day in and day out, taking care of the family members, looking into everyone's desire, and this is what she gets at the end of the day.
That the mother does nothing.
doesn't do anything.
In fact, homemakers have the most challenging work.
Yes.
They do a lot and they earn the label of doing nothing.
Nothing. That's why they're like dignified servants who don't get their pay at the end of the month.
Yes, probably that would have made a difference. If the mothers would have demanded the pay for the work, the respect would have come maybe.
I know, ma'am. Okay, so this needs to change. We need to respect our mother. We need to respect our women for all the work that they do. Okay, ma'am. A mother has a lot of responsibilities to fulfill. The list is long and exhaustive. People usually question the mothers more than fathers when it comes to raising and grooming children. What's your point of view?
Well, if I have to answer this, in fact, there are two views. The first and the most obvious view is it's a patriarchal society. And very conveniently, the male members, they shift the blame on the women. But if you consider the scene, say 50 to 60 years back, not many women came out of their homes to share the economic burden with their husbands. So what used to happen? The father used to remain out to earn the livelihood for the family. The mother used to stay back at home. And the children, they had the support of their mothers for a longer period of time than that of the fathers. And so it was expected that the mother knows more about the child than the father does. And so always it was the mother who was questioned,
And not the father.
and maybe that is a negative thing, and the positive thing is that is why many mothers are the inspiration for the children. Because the child always comes home and finds the mother is there.
There's a negative side to this, ma'am. I'll tell you why. Because they have their mothers for so long, for longer hours. They take their mothers for granted, and they long for the company of the father.
Yes.
So this is
you
again
can look it into the other
So it's
way.
like a win-win situation for a father anyway. So they are winning always, and it's not fair. I feel.
Yes, but then now days are changing, and I
Yes.
think the male members must accept their roles very gracefully. They have to accept that if the woman goes out to work, if the the woman in the house goes out to work, earn the livelihood, share the burden with the
Yeah.
male member, then the father should also come forward
yes.
and lend a helping hand to the woman.
I hope all the fathers are listening to ma'am today. So this is a great suggestion and advice. I feel we should all follow this, because if a mother is a parent to a child,
So is the
father,
father.
so is the father.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ma'am, a mother is always taken for granted. She's left behind and brushed off as someone who is born to be sacrificial in nature, like I was saying, as a part of her duty. Don't you think mothers deserve more praise and credit?
Certainly, the mothers deserve more praise, and I feel, ma'am, even the mothers must play a role over here. They also must tell their family members of the children, this is the work which I have done. I mean, it's not always that you have to impose that see, I have done these many work. Not necessarily. But when you know that the child is not giving you the due respect, you have to correct your child. Because if you teach your child today that you need to respect your mother, this child will grow up and will teach her children the same thing. But then if you take everything, okay, it's my child, never mind. This never mind factor, will spoil the entire thing.
I feel, ma'am, it's wrong on the part of a mother also to accept this sort of behavior
Exactly.
from everybody else. I feel they're modest, too modest.
Yes, modest indeed, but this modesty does not work at all.
Yes, yes.
We have to voice, see, we are the ones who teach our children. So if we do not teach our sons and daughters that this is how you need to respect your mothers, how do we expect that child who will grow up will also behave the same way with his, maybe with his wife, and will never learn to respect the wife or the mom.
I feel the mothers live with this spirit of resignation and they accept everything without complaining. I think mothers should be
They
more
need to
vocal
change.
about their demands, and what they want from others and from life. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, there are women who, after turning mothers, focus entirely on raising their babies. They give a break in their careers and are unable to bounce back, especially in a country like India. What's your message to those mothers?
Well, if the mothers have the skill in them, have the fire in them to come out in the proper way, then why not? Yes, if they feel that they need to stay back at home for a few years to, if they have no helping hand at home to look after
I think
their
there's nothing
children,
wrong with that
there's
also.
no harm at all.
Yes, yes.
Because homemakers too deserve the same respect. But if they have that urge in them to come out and work, if they know that they are capable of doing it, why not? And in fact, I'm sure you will agree with me, the children, they look up to those mothers with more confidence. They also develop that confidence in them.
And we need to show our children, for what we should be respected for.
Certainly.
Yes.
And I'm sure every mother has a quality. Okay, some excel well in the art of in this culinary art.
Yes.
Some are very good in knitting.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the same qualities together. So if you have that, why not?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, what's your definition of a modern mother and model mother? Two different terms.
Modern mothers, I'm very sorry to say, sometimes they focus a lot more on academics without looking into the other skills which a child needs to develop in the world. And these days, the skills, a school is there not only to teach you and not only to teach you the alphabets, but also to develop the skills which a child has.
Yes, ma'am.
So a modern mother sometimes makes a mistake over here that I send my child to school, and the school must concentrate only on the academic part of the child. Skill development will happen by itself. It's not important at all.
And they don't consider it to be that important.
They don't consider it
vital.
important at all. And that is where sometimes the hobbies are never built in a child. And there are some mothers who want to teach their children everything. Even I made this mistake. When my child was growing, I gave her a class in singing. She had a singing class. I pulled her to abacus. She had a drawing lesson at home, and I wanted to see my child excel in everything.
Too much on the platter will also not do.
Not at all.
Yes.
But then I realized that my child was not enjoying all these things. She loved to draw, and she continues that with that even today. But then singing, she does it at her own free will. Not that someone should come and teach her that along the lines. She doesn't like that. So I thought, yes, she also has her desires, her dreams, and I'm no one to crush those things.
I think we should, give a child the freedom to decide what sort of career path that they want to choose.
Only then a child will grow up well.
And what sort of skills they would like to have. Talking about skill development, I would just like to say that, this is very, very vital and important in school, because when you are out of school and you're appearing for interviews for college or any other job interviews, I feel that they ask not only your academic records but also what you excel at. What are your other skills that would help that particular institution to grow and develop.
Certainly.
So this is what I feel the parents don't know, that how important skill development is. So please do not restrict your children. If they want to go out and play, if they want to involve themselves in music or dance and any other form of art.
And sometimes these are stress busters. With the kind of academic pressures the children suffer from, these kind of hobbies that they develop will, in fact, for the modern mothers, let me tell that this will help them to produce a better results, academic results, because they will get, the mind will calm down, will relax, and then they can grasp the lessons well.
Ma'am, what's your definition of model mother?
A model mother should be one who should accept her child with all the flaws, with all the goodness. We have, ma'am, as a teacher, I know that we have parents coming to us saying that, no, my child is good. His friend has spoiled my child.
Yeah.
But then we
get there a lot.
Exactly. But we know that every child has a flaw, has a merit, has a demerit. So if I know that my child is being spoiled by his or her friend, let me stop my child from mingling over there. A model mother is one who does not push her dream into her child. Let the child bloom in her own way, in her own free will. But yes, the mothers must be a little vigilant also, because at times children go astray. And if the mother is not vigilant, if the mother is taken for granted, these children will never be able to come back to the right path.
True.
So that's where that's how a model mother should be. A little vigilant, a little firm, and friendly.
Great answer, ma'am. Ma'am, share some of your bitter and beautiful experiences as a mother.
Bitter, so far no.
Okay.
But yes, a beautiful experience was 16 years back on 13th of January 2004 when I heard for the first time the cry of my daughter, and that's where I feel all mothers feel happy.
I felt the same too with my boy.
When they hear their child cry.
Yes.
And I feel so overwhelmed when I think of those moments, that when the doctor came and said, "Congratulations, you have a baby girl." I wanted to hold her, but right at that moment I couldn't. But when I first held her in my arms,
oh my God. It's giving me goosebumps.
Certainly, so is it. There was a world of happiness there.
Wow. I think every mother can relate with this experience. It's a
all of us, we feel so happy for the only time when we hear our child cry is that moment.
The first day, the first time, the first moment. And it's a miracle that we have in our arms, and that's a human life.
Life.
I think that sums up being a mother, ma'am. That we can give birth to something as beautiful as a baby.
And that emotion within, it is inexplicable.
Yes, ma'am. Cannot be expressed in words.
Never.
Yes,
it has to be felt.
Ma'am, share some of your wisdom for all the mothers out there on how to raise children with the right values without being too overbearing.
Yes. these days, mothers have nearly, kept the moral values, they have taken a back seat. Respect for the seniors, love for the family members, these all have become, kind of, okay, it will happen. Secondary. It's not at all important. But then we fail to understand that if the child is not grown up with the right values, if the right values are not imparted to the child will never learn to be a good human being. Academics in its own place, but first, a child's first teacher is his or her mother. And so this responsibility solely rests on the, on the part of the mothers to impart the right kind of value-based education to their children.
Yes, ma'am.
These things cannot be found in books. These has to be done, on a regular basis with small things. So, and another thing, like I had already spoken earlier, no comparisons.
Yes, I know.
Do not compare. Not just mothers, even teachers do that. We very often compare this class to be better than that class. But that's only a way, to bring the children in order.
Yes.
But my children who are listening to me, please don't take it so seriously when the teachers compare you to any other set of children. But for the mothers, please do not compare your child to anyone else's child. Your child is special, your child is unique, your child is the best.
And that was my last question. I thoroughly enjoyed, ma'am, the conversation
So
with you.
did
It
I,
was
ma'am.
such an interesting one, and I'm sure the viewers, they could gain some help from this podcast video. So I look forward to more video podcasts in future. So until then, take care and stay safe.